7 a.m. Saturday, October 22nd. So this is the first time we're taking the boat out with the new engine. I'm super stoked. Let's see if the sucker actually starts. Yes, it does purr like a machine. We're giving a little bit more throttle. We're just about ready to bounce. We've got looks like a little overcast. Not much wind to speak of, like maybe 3 knots. Engine's looking good. Vitals all check out. We're idling. Debbie is throwing the lines. It's going to be the first time actually me propelling with the new engine, so I'd say a little nervous, not much, but with the new engine, the rotation of the prop is different. So the prop walk now, when we back up, we're actually going to be pulling the wrong direction. So we're going to pull over to port instead of pulling over to starboard, and we're got to point our bow and exit that way. So shouldn't be any big deal, but we'll see. The boat's going to handle a little differently, so I'm going to have to relearn a few things. Okay, we're in gear. Okay, that's good. How are we doing? Doing just a little under 2,000 RPMs. I'll take it up a little. And we slow down just a hair. So we're doing about 5.8, 5.7. And there's RPM, so I've got that coming off the engine. It's 5.8, and we've got another couple hundred RPM, so 2,200 is our cruising RPMs, and we'll climb to 2,200 here in just a minute, and then we'll see what kind of speed we're getting. We should be getting close to 6.5, maybe a little under that. So I think the magic 80% number of 2,800, and I'll have to do my math here. I think it's like 2,240 maybe, and we're just a hair under 2,200, and we're doing 6.3. Put a little heat on it. 6.4. It's kind of within what I was expecting. Engine sounds good and everything feels pretty smooth. It's a sea line. Before 8:30, we got our first decent pot of dolphins coming through. What do you think, Debbie? Right in the bow. Yeah, there's one over there to starboard. There's one still right in front of your bow here. See?
Oh, look at that.
So it's beginning of March. It's been almost, what, late October now. So we're coming up on 7 months since I've taken the boat to Catalina. We've got this epic pot of dolphins, which kind of makes the shit worthwhile. They're all around. Love it. Okay, over to starboard. It just whale just spouted. There it is. See it? It's out there about 200 meters. 250. It's out there a ways. It's just kind of right off our beam, maybe just a little forward of our beam. See it now?
No.
Seriously. Look a little to your right and out.
This way?
Yeah, right where your hand is. A little bit over, no, to right. Starboard. Back just a hair. Wait for it. There it is.
Ah! I can't see it.
Shit. 9/11 update. So we could totally be sailing right now. Winds up to about 11.5 apparent. So we're starting to get a little bit of breeze coming in. We have the motor sail. We got the main up, we're motor sailing. And I'm debating on whether to shut the engine, but since this is the inaugural trip with the engine, I do want to run it all the way across, I think, just to get some hours and observe it and get it to the point where we do the first service here on the engine before long at 25 hours with the brand new engine. And after that, I think the schedule, I'll have to go back and check the manual. I think it's 150 hours. There's only 2 minor things with the engine that I still want to check out. It seems to be running really well. Everything's smooth, dialed in. I don't feel any weird vibrations, no strange noises. The throttle cable is, I think it needs some kind of a tensioner or something like that inside the actual pedestal here. So what happens is the RPM slowly, we cruise at 2240's ideal cruising RPM for this engine for the Beta 35, and then it's not holding there, it's just gradually slipping back, and I'm pretty sure that it's not, that the cable's not slipping at the engine or anything like that, that it's just not tension and the vibrations slowly just working the RPMs down. So I've been you know, pushing the throttle forward incrementally just as the RPMs have been coming down. I don't think it's like loose to where the integrity of the cable's, you know, not good, like something's not tightened down there. I really think it's a tensioning thing inside of the pedestal. So I'll double check that, see if there's anything that we can do there. The other thing is got a 120 amp alternator, and there's no external charge controller. So right now it's using the charge controller inside of the alternator. So at some point I want to get a brush bar and put an external controller, get a Balmar MC 618 likely, and eventually that'll support when I go to lithium iron phosphate batteries. If I look at the voltage right now, it's running 14 and some change, 14, maybe 14.8, and I think that's just a constant voltage output. So I need to look at the Lifeline AGMs and see what the charging profile is for those. Feels like maybe that's a little high, so I need to double check that. Other than that, smooth sailing, smooth motor sailing. All right, we got a man overboard situation. Man overboard. Let's get her out of autopilot. All right. Yeah, it looks like Water World. Got her? Right on, nicely done. Oh shit. Then you're gonna have to stab it 3 times. Not really 3 times.
I need to stab it.
Nice. 10:30 a.m. We're still motor sailing to White Cove, Catalina Island. Pretty chill out. So be there in about 45 minutes. So an ETA somewhere around 11:15 a.m. And look what we've got off our port here. It's awfully chill out. Actually, the wind died down a little bit. Now we're getting a little bit more wind off our port. So it clocked about 60 degrees. There was a little bit of a southerly offshore, kind of coming off the southeast, kind of clocking around the Santa Catalina Channel. It's really expected to be coming more from the northwest and west. So we should be okay. We should be pretty well protected. And we're meeting up with Ohana. So Katie's got her Cal 27-2. She has a little further to go than we did. So she started around 6 a.m. We left around 7 or a little bit after. She's going a little bit slower. I think she has a little bit more wind, and I think she's kind of motoring right into it. So we'll probably be here a couple hours before she gets in. But look at this beautiful boat over here. So this schooner next to us is the XC Johnson that comes up. It's a 98.4 foot long sailing vessel, the beam of 19.7 feet. Sail training. We've got the Irving Johnson over here off our starboard bow. And the Irving Johnson is, I'm not getting the length. Another sail training vessel. That's cool. Take a look at the Irving Johnson off the starboard. I think these guys are based out of San Pedro. Both of these schooners are. White Cove. We're less than a mile from our waypoint. Go ahead and dump the mainsail here. What you mean? So Ohana rolled in about a half hour ago. It's about 10 till 3. Still kind of gloomy out. We're still at the anchorage. There's Ohana rowing over. Couple of boats here in the anchorage, not too much. Let's see what happens tonight. It's supposed to get a little windier. We got a bunch of kayakers out here doing the kayak thing. Well, it's about 6:15. Be quiet. A little less swell than we had. There's Ohana in front of us. And a couple of boats anchored out. There's the Starlink. So we're gonna go down below and Netflix and chill. It's gonna be more like Netflix and nap, but we'll play a movie or something. All right, 10 till 7. So we're just coming up on sunrise. That's Ohana taking off. Ohana's going back to Dana Point. And we're getting ready to fire up here pretty soon. See the dive boat that was off of Long Point here, they're heading out as well. Little rolly last night, but pretty comfortable. We're at the same spot we dropped the hooks, so we didn't drag or anything. They had a small craft advisory, and they said that we could be getting gusts of like 15 to 25. I think all of it was on the other side of the island, further offshore. We didn't really get much, so we've got some protection here from land behind us, but just not much out there. I'm hoping So the wave state's not as bad. Instead of 4 to 6 feet waves, I think 3 to 5. And that's coming more from like the west, northwest. And then we've got a 3-foot swell, which is, you know, like every 17 seconds or so. So it might be a little bit of confused seas. Nice thing is, at least here we have a little bit of breeze. You can see a little bit of wind on the water. Not a lot, but if we can sail or motor sail, with the sails up, if we have enough wind, that'll make a lot easier motion than just trying to motor through, if it's a little bit lumpy. I can see Ohana's mast kind of swinging back and forth. She'll put up her main for sure here pretty soon. She's probably thinking about it right now. Hoisting up the anchor. We had 300 feet out. We didn't move. Which is nice. All right, we're out of here. So a couple things. One, I don't know if my battery isolator works, so alternator was not charging the house bank after the repower. Prior owner had 2 sets of switches for DC power, 2 shutoffs, so both engine and house have 1 bank, 2 banks, or all. And I haven't figured out the exact combination for that, but shouldn't affect the isolator for charging the house bank, but they're the same chemistry. So for today I just combined the banks because we were running a little low on our we had, you know, a little bit of reserve. I always keep some reserve on the batteries, but we have about, ideally, these are old batteries, 250 amp hours, and we had burned up about 150 almost. So since we're pulling up the windlass and everything, I started getting a little nervous that whether we're gonna have enough juice to pull in 300 feet of chain. And then so as I got up to about 180 feet up, it started batteries started slowing down a little bit. So then I switched the battery switches, combined the banks. We got a little bit more power. We've got a 120 amp alternator on this beast. Then we're getting charged at both banks, which was looking good. And then we get this castling effect with 300 feet of chain. Somebody's got to be up in the V-berth pulling the chain down to make sure that all fits in the V-berth. And I neglected to ask Debbie to do that. So then the chain hit the bottom of the windlass and shorted the breaker. So then the breaker popped. So I had to clear the chain, and then I had to go and flip the breaker. And obviously I picked the power winch, and I opened and then reclosed that breaker because it looked all right. Went up and nothing happened, and then I figured out it was on the wrong breaker. That was obviously tripped. So once we got all that sorted out, we're motoring now, just a little bit after sunrise. I think you can see Ohana, a little sailboat out in the distance, over to, I think that's her over to starboard, close to the island, between the island and the sun. And Katie tells me that there is a pod of Risso's dolphins as we're coming out. So we'll see if they're still around after this screwing around with the windlass. All right, start bringing her up.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I got a good eye. I got good eyes on it. I feel a lot better. Just looking at the battery and it was way down. So we got a charge yesterday off the alternator. Now I'm seeing 14 battery monitor, and 43 amps is what we're pulling in right now. Just a cruising, which is fine. We're still down 80 amps. So between the Starlink, the TV, the refrigerator, all the electronics, charging the laptop, phone, all that stuff, we pulled quite a bit of juice. And then I was getting nervous with the windlass. So we didn't have a lot of, still had some reserve, but I was getting a little bit nervous there. We got these two switches. And right now I've just got, I think you can run the engine on either bank, the engine battery of the house bank, and the same for the house. And to charge, there's some combination to get the battery the battery isolator to charge the house bank. So I'll have to look into that a little bit and see what's going on. But at this point, we're charging, everything looks good. Decided to go ahead and just get out of the channel here. We got this tanker coming through. It was the relief fan or the scopolamine today?
I think it was mostly the relief band. So Scopolamine, I'm not feeling anything from it.
Well, you had more swells today than you had yesterday. You seemed like you were almost enjoying yourself up there.
Skeleton. That looks like a nice paddleboard.
Okay, got your bow line?
Yeah.